Welcome back to Luke's Properties YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a property portfolio. Let's get into it. So let's start here. Now, first things first, you need to take control of your finances. In order to start buying property, you need to be disciplined, you need to start saving money, and you also need to start thinking about making more money. So to make things really simple, we're going to start by trying to save or make £42.50 every day for the next 2 years. Try and do this for a few months, then build it up to 6 months, then a year, and then if you make it through a year, then try and do 2 years. Now remember, you don't necessarily have to save £42.50 per day if you can make an extra £42.50 a day. If you can make an extra £21, for example, and save £21 a day, then that's going to work out to be your £42.50 a day target that you need to reach. So ways to save money, I don't need to go through this in too much detail. It's very simple. You need to spend less than you earn. You need to limit your liabilities, reduce your expenses, and try and find fun and enjoyment in things that don't cost money. Don't be a consumer. Don't keep up with the current trends, with the latest clothes or the latest cars. Make a plan, stick to it, be disciplined, reduce your expenses with the goal in mind of becoming a property portfolio owner in the future. Now, when we talk about increasing our income, if you work a job, can you add value to the business itself? Is there maybe more you could be doing? Could you negotiate with your boss and see if you could get paid more for adding more value? Could you create a side hustle alongside your job where you're making an extra £20 a day? This could be buying and selling things on eBay, or even creating an ebook and selling an ebook, teaching people how to do something. That could be anything. That could be carpentry, that could be cooking, that could be any particular skill that you may have that others don't. If you could package that and sell that as a digital product, that would be your extra £21 a day there. So start thinking outside of the box. Can you add value at your job? Can you create a side hustle with the view of making an extra £21 per day and reducing your expenses and saving £21 a day? Now, once you reach your target of saving or creating an extra £42.50 a day for 2 years, in 2 years' time, you're going to have enough for your first buy-to-let deposit. Now, let's take an example of a £100,000 property. You can find properties like this in the north of England or over in Wales. Now, to buy this property, you're going to need a 25% deposit, which is £25,000. You're also going to have to pay a solicitor around £1,500. And depending on if you already own a property or not, you may have to pay stamp duty. If you don't own a property and this is your first property and it's worth £100,000, then you won't pay any stamp duty as you're a first-time buyer. If you do already own a property and this is an additional property, in England, your stamp duty will cost you 3% of the purchase price, and in Wales, it will cost you 4% of the purchase price. So in this example, that will be either £3,000 or £4,000. Your next cost will be a mortgage broker. Now, depending on if you're a new customer or an existing customer, you're going to have to pay around £500 if you're a new customer. If you're an existing customer and you've used a mortgage broker previously, then you might only get charged around £150 per application, which brings your total capital invested to between £27,000 to £31,000. Now, once you've bought this house, you then need to find tenants and rent it out. So you'd rent this house out for £700 per month. Your mortgage at 4.5% interest on an interest-only mortgage would cost you £281 a month. It's always good to put aside some money for minor maintenance. I would advise around £50 a month. Your insurance will cost you £30 a month, which is going to give you a net income of £339 per month. Now, that might not seem like lots of money, but if you take this figure and divide it by your capital employed, which in a worst case scenario will be £31,000, and then you multiply that figure by 100, you're still getting around a 13% return on your capital employed every year from the rental income alone. And that's not taking into consideration the capital appreciation. And most investors in the stock market would be happy with a 7 to 8% return annually from their investments. So to be able to get a 13% return on your capital employed from the rental income alone, and we haven't spoke about the appreciation yet, which we'll cover later on in the video, that's a sign of a very good investment. So what I want to do now is show you how things start to compound over time. So let's say you start this plan today, and in year 1, all you're focusing on is our first goal here, which is to save or make £42.50 every day. So year 1, you're saving or creating an extra £42.50 every day for the year. Year 2, same again, you're going to keep those disciplined habits and save and create an extra £42.50 for the rest of the year. By the end of year 2, you'll have enough to put down a deposit on your first property. So you buy your first house at the end of year 2, and you're benefiting from £339 extra every single month, which is also going to help you with your saving / making an extra £42.50 every day, because now you're getting an additional £339 every single month in passive income. So you've got your first house, you've rented it out. So you go into year 3, same again, you keep your discipline, you try and save an extra £42.50 every single day, or make an extra £42.50. This is obviously going to be made easier by the fact that you're benefiting from an extra £339 every single month from the rental income from your first property. Year 4, again, we're going to keep saving and keep making that extra £42.50 every single day. And by the end of year 4, you're going to have enough for a deposit on a second property. And you repeat the process. So you go and find a £100,000 house that may have been worth around £80,000 to £85,000 4 years prior. You find this £100,000 house, you buy it, you rent it out, and then you create an additional £339 per month in passive income. And at this point, you're making around £680 per month in passive income from your 2 properties. So again, your goal of saving or creating an extra £42.50 a day is becoming easier and easier, because now you've created an additional £700 in passive income on top of your income that you're making from your salary or your business. Now, year 5 is where the magic happens, and this is where things can start to really speed up. So year 5 rolls around, you're still sticking to your discipline, you're saving and creating an extra £42.50 every day. But because you've owned house 1 for over 3 years now, the chances are it's probably appreciated in value by around 15 to 20%. Now, when house prices go up in value, so does your equity. That's the most amazing thing about property, is the fact that you put down 25% of the asset value, the bank funds the rest, but when the asset increases in value over time, you get to keep 100% of that appreciation, even though you only put 25% down to buy the asset. So if you're smart, you can use that additional equity that's been created by the asset increasing in value over time. Now, typically on a £100,000 house that appreciates by 15 to 20%, you should be able to refinance around 15 to 20 grand back out of the house. And if you've managed to save some of the rental income over the years, then you can add to that 15 to 20,000 pounds, make it up to 30,000 pounds, and then guess what? You can go and buy another house. Another caveat to this is when you refinance, the money that you get from the new mortgage is tax-free money because it's a loan and you don't pay tax on loans. So you get to extract around 15 to 20,000 pounds out of the house. You put that with your savings and then you buy another house. So in year 5, you refinance house number 1 to buy house number 3. And again, you repeat the process. You rent it out, and now you're making another £339. And if you combine all 3 of your properties, you should be generating over £1,000 per month in passive income, which again makes it easier to keep saving or creating an extra £42.50 every day. Because not only do you have your income from your salary or your business or your side hustle, but you also have an additional £1,000 plus coming in every month in passive income from your investments. So as you can see, as time goes on, it starts to get easier. So now year 6 rolls by, and again, you're still remaining disciplined. You're trying to save or make an extra £42.50 a day, which has become a lot easier because you're now making over £1,000 per month in passive income from your rental income. So you've saved up enough money to put down a deposit on house number 4. And again, you repeat the process. You rent it out and you create an additional £339 per month or £4,068 per year in passive income. So you've saved up to buy house number 4. And again, you repeat the process. You buy the house, you rent it out, and you add another £350 to £400 per month in passive income to your portfolio. And at this point, you'll be classed as a portfolio landlord. Banks and lenders will class you as a portfolio landlord once you own 4 or more properties. So this is a great point to aim for. If you started this today, then you could have a portfolio exactly like this in 6 years' time, just by saving or making an extra £42.50 every day and making your money work hard, and by refinancing house number 1 to buy house number 4 and using your equity to buy another house. You now have a portfolio of 4 properties. So let's have a look at how your portfolio will look numbers-wise by 2030. So your portfolio value will be £435,000. Remember, these houses are going to appreciate in value by around 5 to 6% per year every year. Your rental income will be around £400 times 4, which is £1,600 per month in passive income. Now remember, rents increase every year too. The same way a house appreciates in value, rents also increase. So the rental income you'll be able to charge will be creeping up every year. And if you're on a fixed rate mortgage, then your mortgage expense will stay the same, which means you'll be making even more from your monthly cash flow. So a couple of these houses that you bought in year 2 and year 4, you could quite easily be charging £750 to £800 per month for rent. And this will increase your cash flow. So it's quite realistic that by 2030, each of these houses will be making you around £400 per month in passive income, which means your rental income will be £1,600 per month. Your equity within that portfolio will be £108,750. And your capital appreciation across your portfolio at 5% per year will be £21,750. So not only are you making £1,600 per month in passive income, your wealth is also growing by £21,750 because your portfolio of properties are increasing in value. And because you have 4 of these properties, every time the housing market goes up by 5%, your whole portfolio goes up by 5%. So you get to benefit from capital appreciation times 4. So you're making £21,750 per year without doing a thing, just by letting the market do its thing and appreciate over time. So you're making £1,600 per month in passive income. This is a fantastic situation for most people to be in. This is around 75% of the average annual salary in the UK. So if you can recreate 75% of your annual salary from passive income from your investments, then it's quite likely that you'll be able to retire early. Rather than trading 40 hours a week at your job, your assets are now working hard, creating you an income that covers 75% of your salary. At this point, you can either choose to stay in your job and use your additional income to buy more properties and become a property tycoon. Or if you don't like your job, you can quit your job early and live off the passive income from your investments. The choice is yours, but at least you have a choice. Property is a vehicle that allows ordinary people to build extraordinary wealth. And if you follow this blueprint, you could build yourself a property portfolio in 6 years. All of this from saving or making an additional £42.50 every day. So by being disciplined and having a plan and executing that plan, you can build yourself a property portfolio for less money than you may think, in a shorter time span than you may think, and retire earlier than 67. If you've made it this far, then you definitely take your property investing journey seriously. As a token of my appreciation for you watching the video this long, I've included a free buy-to-let course in the video description below. Click the link and this will help further your buy-to-let education. If you want to watch a video where I bought a house just like this for £95,000, then watch this video next. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.